All right, Shalom. We're going to start off by giving all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah Kodash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone for teaching his word and truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe. Our fellow Akim preaching in the word in the name of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Shai. There's the brother Gabar Yahweh.
The brother Zahab.
Conaway two of the three brothers from Hawaii. We on our way to camp to the Mazabat. And so we're just doing another in transit. And can you get they should eat their food defiled amongst the heathen? You know, yeah, the brother was going in, which when we got in the car, telling me about a video that he saw, and he'll give you a summary of it regarding some pastor, you know, speaking about the food that we eat, how it's designed, basically mentally destroying. How it's mentally destroying Jake, man. You can go talk to me about that.
Yeah, so basically I was watching this video that this Jake pastor was going in on about the American diet and how it's how it's one of the major causes, more than anything else, of the rise in mental disorders, whether it be anxiety, depression, autism, you know, anything. But, you know, our diet is a major reason or cause for these mental disorders, you know?
Yeah, like Elder Yashawama said, all the food that we eat, every last bit of the food that we eat in this society is sacrificed unto idols, and it's pretty much unclean, man. You know, and that's why the Lord, I think it was Ezekiel, and you can find that scripture where he told him to lay on his side for like a certain amount of time. Might have been Isaiah, but anyway, I think it was one of them. And he told him to eat man's dung. And he said, nah, I've never eaten nothing like that.
Yeah, it's right after the...
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
This is Ezekiel 4:13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel...
Oh, start up. See what 10 said.
At 10?
Yeah.
It says, verse 10, and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day.
Start at verse 9.
Ezekiel 4:9. Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils.
Yeah, you gotta start at the top, bro.
Alright, Ezekiel 4:1. Thou also, son of man, take thee a tile and lay it before thee, and portray it upon the city, even Jerusalem, and lay siege against it, and build a fort against it, and cast a mount against it. Set the camp also against it, and set battering rams against it round about. Moreover, take thou unto thee an iron pan, and set it for a wall of iron between thee and the city, and set thy face against it, and it shall be besieged, and thou shalt lay siege against it. This shall be a sign of the house of Israel. Lie thou also upon thy left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it, according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon it, thou shalt bear their iniquity.
Yeah, so what the Lord was telling Ezekiel, he was having them do these certain things as a precursor to what's about to happen to Israel, about the destruction, the judgment that he was about to lay on Israel because of their sins. When you read, this is chapter 4, right? All throughout Ezekiel, but primarily 8 and 9. When you read those two chapters, the Lord shows Ezekiel the wickedness Israel was doing, which was basically idol worshiping, man. You know, being wicked. And how they were secretly doing it, and secretly thinking that nobody knew, thinking that the Most High didn't see what they were doing, but he saw exactly what they were doing. So he's proclaiming judgment on Jake. Go ahead.
So he's kind of telling, like he told Hosea to get him like a harlot.
Yep.
And then name the first kid.
One of them was named Lo, and me. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
He is not my son.
Yeah, kind of. You know, basically being like a precursor of how Israel was going to be. You know, Israel was going to play the harlot. You know, Israel was going to be cast away and then be brought back.
Yep.
But this is Ezekiel 4:5. For I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity.
Yeah, so the reason why he was doing that was basically giving Ezekiel a physical representation of what Jake was doing to the Lord, man. So he created that fort. He basically created a layout. I think he said Jerusalem. He said, or of Israel. Put battle rams against it, you know, and then he told him to lay on his left side for a certain amount of time, you know, he just basically giving him that vision, but making it physical too for him. So he had to experience it. Go ahead.
It says, "For I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days.
Yeah.
So shalt thou bear the iniquity of the house of Israel.
Yeah.
And when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days."
So the whole 12 tribes, man. All 12 tribes was going off, man. Go ahead.
"I have appointed thee each day for a year. Therefore thou shalt set thy face toward the siege of Jerusalem."
So for 300 and something years, Israel was just doing wickedness, man. For 300 and something years, Israel was doing wickedness. And then for 40 of those years, Judah went off and started doing that. Because he said each day is a year.
So each year he had to, or each year Israel went off, he had to lay on his left side for a day.
Yeah.
And then each year, dang, that's a long time, bro.
Yeah, when you read that, you're like, damn, how you do that? You know, because we're in these weak bodies, man. But back then, you know, the Lord put the spirit on them within all that. But then two, you know, men were stronger back then. Yeah. Hey, the food they were eating was better back then.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's what we're getting into in this lesson. It's like the food that Jake was eating. Like if you were to take somebody from now, like Jake from the any ghetto USA right now and send him back in time, you know, to eat that food, man, he probably bug out, man.
Oh, for sure.
He might even die, man, because we're not used to eating that.
Yeah, I remember the apostles like a while back. They're going in on nutrition, and they said, look, man, if like we went back to the ancient world and like ate, you know, the foods that they're eating, or even if we went into the kingdom, you'd either get high as hell or you die. You just drop dead.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we have GMO. These are GMO bodies, man.
Yeah.
You don't realize how your diet affects your genes, and that can be passed down too.
Yeah.
And you know, ever since we've been in America, man, we've been eating defiled foods.
Yeah.
You know, ever since we lost our heritage, really.
Yeah.
You know, in the Roman days, man.
Yeah.
But this is Ezekiel 4:7. "Therefore thou shalt set thy face toward the siege of Jerusalem, and thine arm shall be uncovered, and thou shalt prophesy against it. And behold, I will lay bands upon thee, and thou shalt not turn thee from one side into another."
Yeah, so he couldn't even do that. He couldn't even turn. If he wanted to turn, he couldn't, because, you know, they get uncomfortable. He's like, no, he
got an itch or something.
Yeah, he was forced to stay that way. And they don't say what those bands were, but hey, just believe he couldn't do nothing about it. Go ahead, brother.
"Till thou hast ended the days of thy siege. Take thou also unto thee wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and fitches, and put them in one vessel, and make thee bread thereof, according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days shalt thou eat thereof."
They had to eat the same meal for, he said 300, how many days?
390 days.
Yes, that's over a year, man. Go ahead, brother.
"And thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day."
And that's how we eat today. We got to eat our feet. I was looking at my daughter's like, feet.
Yeah.
Slack it, brother. No, we got to eat our feet. We got to eat our meat. Yeah, Satan, man. We got to eat our meat in weight, man. Pounds. You eat about an ounce.
Yeah.
You eat mainly about a pound here in America. You know, that's how we eat.
Yeah, well, by calories.
Oh, by calories too.
Yeah, and you know, there's even high, well, so-called high experts in nutrition. They say if you want to lose weight, you know, decrease your caloric intake, or they'll say, you know, a caloric deficit, which that's bullshit too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it doesn't matter how much calories you eat, as long as you have the efficient nutrients in your diet, have that, or you can eat a whole lot of calories.
Yeah.
But those nutrients start working in your body, and they can do some pretty spectacular things.
Yeah.
But you can eat. But the thing that on the flip side of it, if you just eat fried chicken, you're still going to be hungry because your body hasn't gotten all those nutrients.
Yep.
So you become an addict, like a food addict.
Yeah.
That's basically what the dude in the video was saying. And Lord willing, I could probably put the link in the comment section or whatever. But yeah, man. Back in Ezekiel 4, verse 10, and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day. From time to time shalt thou eat it. Thou shalt drink also water by measure.
And we're doing that right now. And you got to go to the store and buy water bottles, man. Okay? And on top of that, you got to pay a water bill in some of these states, man. And the water that you getting, even the water in the bottles, that shit is all tap water, man. It's all poison water, man. On top of the fact that it's by measure. Go ahead.
And also, even like some of the quote-unquote best tap water spots, they're putting fluoride right in the water, man.
Yep.
And they do it, and they get by with it because they say fluoride strengthens your teeth.
Which it doesn't.
And plus, you're not putting the fluoride on your teeth, you're consuming it.
Yep.
Which is terrible for your body and your mental health as well. But yeah, they say Memphis, Tennessee has like the second best water in like, I can't remember if it was United States or the world, but there's way too many Jakes that live in Memphis, Tennessee, where Esau's just gonna let them have the finest water, man.
Yeah, like in Esau never like can you hold that and get Ecclesiastes chapter 13. I think it's chapter 13, and it says if he do good, he do it unwillingly. Yeah, because this devil, man, when he do good, you think he's doing so-called good to you, he's not doing that on purpose, man. He's doing that unwillingly, man. And in the end, he gonna show you his, the real cause or the real reason why he's doing it. And look at Flint, Michigan, man. You got a lot of poor Jakes. There could be Edomites, there could be Jakes, but you got a lot of poor white people there, and you got a lot of poor Negroes there. And that water been fucked up ever since. And all because they changed out the piping to do something else, to make the clean water go to the wealthier locations, and all the dirty water go to the poor locations, man. And they won't fix it at all, man. So basically, they have a water crisis there. They even got a Jake. They call him Moses, because he's bringing water over there to the Jakes for free. A black Jake, Jake too. He found a way to basically clean any dirty water, and make it fresh water, man. To bring them, and he got a whole machine that he has to set up out there. And guess what? Esau tried to destroy that shit, man. Damn. He said, no, this wasn't done by no regular people. This was done by somebody who knew how this machine worked. Go ahead, brother.
This is a Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 14:7.
14. Stop.
And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly.
Oh, start at 6.
Ezekiel 14:6. There is none worse than he that envieth himself.
Yeah, that's Esau, man.
And that is and this is a recompense of his wickedness.
Yep.
And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. Mm-hmm. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness.
Yeah, he would declare his wickedness, man. So anytime you think this devil is coming down doing good for you, in reality, he's doing wickedness, man. Because he can't do good. The scripture says he that is, basically evil to himself, how can he do good? And this is the same man that poisoned the air that he got to breathe. But yet you got Edomites running around here talking about we're superior than you, we're this, we're that. Well, can you breathe in barium oxide all day, every day, and still live longer than a Jake? No. You gonna die just like the rest of these Jakes, man. Here it is, the Rothschilds, the same world that they live in, they're polluting and destroying, man. As if they don't have to live here, man. So this dude's He's the worst earth manager in the world, man. Hey, can you get Revelation 11 and 18? Bible get shot. And that's why the Lord's going to destroy this man, man. Because he's the destroyer of the earth, man. And this nigga only really been in power or on the up here in America for only like 150 years, man. In less than 200 years, this man has found a way to destroy and kill the earth, man, at an astronomical rate, man. Go ahead.
This is Revelation 11 and 18. The nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets,
Yep.
and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name,
Yes.
small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
Now, who's destroying the earth? The so-called white man. He tries to put it in the mind of the people like, oh, it's mankind that's destroying the earth. No, it's you Edomites, man. You the one that run these industrial complexes, man. We was at the park yesterday. On one end, you got a whole bunch of water. In front of us, the water was polluted with oil and other chemicals. And then down the river or the harbor, you had fucking oil being refined. And then if you turn to the right, they got a big ass, nasty ass fucking chemical plant for power, man, for electric, to create electricity, man. It was a power plant, man. And now, what you think those stacks was for? Were they there just to look good? Because when you create power, you don't need to create pollution. No, that shit was to pump out pollution as power is being created, man. You know, and even if it didn't do it that day or any other day after that, guess what? It already did it before. You know? You don't know what's in them chemicals, and guess what? That shit blow down when you breathing it in, your children are breathing it in, you know? And so this man is destroying the earth, man. You got it, brother. That wasn't on that.
Okay, back in Ezekiel 4 and 11, thou shalt drink also water by measure, the sixth part of an hin. From time to time shalt thou drink, and thou shalt eat it as barley cakes, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of man.
Yeah, so basically he was saying, like, because we're getting into the fact that the food that once we went in captivity, the food we was going to consume, because when we were living in Israel, we could drink water whenever we wanted to drink water, how much ever we wanted to drink. We had clean foods. There was unclean and clean food, but the clean food we knew to eat. You know? But once we went into captivity, we will be subject to our enemies, man. Scripture said we were going to go to a want of all things, and both in hunger and in nakedness, man. You know? So once we got into captivity, our food was going to be defiled. And our food being defiled is an example of us being spiritually defiled, man. Go ahead, bro.
It says, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of man in their sight.
Yeah, so he told her, hey, you got to make cakes, bread or whatever. You got to mix man shit in there, man. And hey, you know how grotesque human shit is, man. You step in some dog shit or cat shit, that'll ruin your day, man. But you step in some human shit, you be really upset, man.
Yeah, what the fuck is this doing here?
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
It says, and the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them.
So that's every nation. Amongst all these nations, we got to eat our bread, our food defiled amongst the Gentiles, man. And I'm sorry, brother.
Not just here in America, man, but I was watching this documentary on, I think it's Moab, how they just be chopping, every kind of animal, right there on the streets.
Yeah.
And, that if any brothers know any thing about, health, that work in restaurants or whatever, you got to keep those animals like separate whenever you're dealing with them.
To prevent cross-contamination.
Yeah, cross-contamination, exactly.
Yeah.
And they'll be like live animals because they kill them freshly, man. Yeah. So that blood and the meats mix, you'll probably be eating one animal, but it's got, some other animal's blood in it.
Yeah.
So it's just like a cesspool of, or breeding ground for all these contaminations.
Yeah, cesspool. Yeah, and it's crazy because them gooks don't wash that shit off, man. They just them women, they just sit there and chop all fucking day. Chop, move it to the side. Chop, move it to the side. They ain't cleaning that shit, and if they do call themselves cleaning it, they'll spray some fucking water on it, and everything just clean. Nah, nigga. Nah, and then they giving you what? They, like the brother said, they giving you all kinds of animal. Cat, dog, rat. You think it's chicken? That shit ain't chicken, man. Chicken don't look like that, man. Chicken don't taste like that. And again, they're not preparing that food with the utmost care. You know? How you supposed to prepare a meal, man. You know? Somebody having a bad fucking day, that shit'll fall on the floor, throw it back up on the top, and there you go. You send it back, you thinking you doing something, you high and mighty. Oh, send this back because this is this is that. And they bring that shit back to you worse than what they sent it to you the first time, man. Got it, brother.
Verse 14. Then said I, O Lord, power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, behold, my soul hath not been polluted. For from my youth up, even till now, I have not eaten of that which dieth of itself.
Yeah.
Or is torn in pieces, neither.
And why did Ezekiel say that? Because that's part of the law. We're not allowed to eat nothing that die of itself. But a lot of the shit we eat, especially when we talk about that Popeye chicken, a lot of them chickens die of their own, man. And then they got to eat themselves, man. They got to eat the dead chicken. I'm sorry, the live chickens end up cannibalizing the dead chicken, man. Read that portion again.
It says, for from my youth up even till now have I not eaten of that which dieth of itself.
That's one thing, because you don't know the food that we eating. You don't know how that thing died, man. You don't know what diseases and carcinogens it got. It like the brother was going into about the dietary system amongst Judah. So-called Negroes, your community, our community, so-called communities. What you don't know how that food is being prepared for you, man. And you got to go buy it. And like we were talking about food deserts. You know, when you go into any ghetto USA, the food there is not really for human consumption, man.
Yeah. And like, there's tons and tons of documentaries about fast food. How that's really just like remains of any kind of meat. Like, it's not even meat. It's more like bones and cartilage of animals than it is meat.
Yeah.
And even if it and then you also got that Jew a while back, or the so-called Jew, and who was really an Amalekite. He like openly admitted that, you know, the children that go missing are used for their sacrifices, and they end up selling that meat to fast food restaurants. Yeah. You know, on the sly.
Yep. So here it is. And where do you see these fast food restaurants located majority at? In poor, low-income areas, man. When you go to the affluent areas, like we live in Hawaii, but if you go into like a poor area, I live in a poor area, you know. The town or the city that I stay in is a poor area, man. You got Taco Bell, McDonald's, Wendy's, Subways. You got all that shit there, but then when you go to the affluent side of Oahu, you don't see none of that shit. You barely see a Subway, man, let alone a fucking McDonald's, man. You know? You barely see some shit like that in these affluent areas, man. Why? Because they got more supermarkets with, not even supermarkets, they got more markets. They got more markets with natural ingredients. And then when you go there and buy that shit is all marked up. Even cereal is high, man. Cereal is higher than it is in the ghetto, man. And why you think cereal is so fucking cheap? Because they got metals in it, shavings in it, all kinds of shit in there, man. They even said, you know, the milk situation is terrible too, man. So we're being afflicted on every level, man. Especially food, because what's that old saying? You are what you eat. Yeah. You know, and that's why why the ghetto's so fucking violent and niggas are off killed and off tilt. You know.
Yeah, because that's what the Jake was saying in that video. He was saying like, you know, hunger. When you get hungry, you're not supposed to feel it in your stomach. You're actually supposed to feel it in your throat and in your mouth.
Wow.
You know, when you actually need food. But it's that cause of hunger in your stomach is due to those toxins.
Yeah, I even know that.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man.
That's crazy.
And he said the only way to purify yourself is to fast. He said that too.
And Jake don't fast in the ghetto, man.
Hell no.
And even when a nigga woman call herself going on fasting, oh, I'm just not gonna eat this today. Or it's Lent, so I'm gonna stay away from steaks. But I'm gonna eat this pork. I'm gonna eat these shrimp and crab. You know?
God. But yeah, not even like water, bro. Like, you know, you got those diabetics, they'll be thirsty a lot.
Yeah.
And they'll be drinking water and it just comes right out of them.
Yeah.
You know? They pee frequently.
Yeah.
But if you fast, you'll only be thirsty for about hour tops, maybe a little longer.
Okay.
And then that you know, cotton mouth will go away, you know? And then and then you're purifying yourself when you fast.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, fasting has, you know, many health benefits because, you know, your body will start to go to your stored fat for energy.
Yeah.
That's how you like start shredding weight, because they also say like 80% of what you burn is usually just your body working to, you know, basically purify itself.
Yeah, like when you go on a fast, even a 24-hour fast, man, you can see the difference in your stomach, the bloatedness. You know what I'm saying? You can see the difference in your energy. You know, they make it sound like, oh, I'm just gonna be fucking drained of all energy. Nah, man, you can still do things when you fasting, man. And you think you do it more efficiently. You think more clearly. You breathe more efficiently. You know.
Yeah, and that's also what the Jake was saying too. He said like, you know, just the thought of fasting like makes people like pretty much bug out because they think, no, if I can't go without eating, or else I'll get shaky.
Yeah.
You know, my stomach will start growling and I'll get a headache. That's side effects because
withdrawal.
Withdrawal.
From the toxins, man.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, you're not stopping eating except when you go to sleep. And how many Jakes really get 8 hours of full uninterrupted sleep, man? You know?
And that's because of insomnia. That's because of their diet.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, there's...
That's why the apostles always telling us about juicing. You know, I don't do it all the time, you know, but they tell us that like when we be done camp we go to this spot, we get this green smoothie, man. Yo, when I be drinking that, I be feeling like, man, like even though we just ate, like you don't even need to eat. You can just drink that shake, man. Mm-hmm. And you be good for the rest of the evening, man. You know, just having natural ingredients in your food, man. You know, things, and then if they do got a natural spot around the any ghetto USA, that shit is gonna be highly expensive. Jake can't afford that shit, man. A lot of Jakes grow up on food stamps, SNAP benefits and shit. So only certain places take SNAP benefits, and when you take them SNAP benefits, guess what? The food that you're going to a desert. You're going to a food desert to buy food. You're not going to a Whole Foods. You're not going to a down to earth. Some of those spots don't even take food stamps, EBT, man. You know, and if they see you with EBT, they start looking at you funny, man. You know? So even the USDA, they created the United States Drug and Administration, Food, USDA, whatever, Drug and Food Administration, they created the SNAP benefits, right? But those SNAP benefits are for generic foods, man. It's not for premium stuff, premium goods, man. Right, man. So, and then a lot of time, only fruits and vegetables that Jake know about, maybe a banana and some motherfucking collard greens, man. Maybe kale. Now you got Jake trying to get on that health kick because the nigga woman, she's always on a non-ending diet, you know? She's always on a non-ending diet and shit. But a lot of the foods that you eating and drinking, you know, that shit is straight up poison, man. And that's why the scripture says we's going to eat our food defiled amongst the heathen, man. You know, even when you think you're getting good food, it's like the best of the worst, man. Mm-hmm. And sometimes not even that, because it's GMO. You got it, bro.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Mm-hmm. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And, famine is increasing. Like, you don't realize it because you're eating, but you don't realize that you're actually suffering. You're dying, Like you dying, mid-30s due to, your diet. That's not normal, man. That's a famine, Because even, let's take the potato famine, which that's, history, they teach in history that was caused by the English Parliament. Yeah. But anyways, the potato famine, like, it wasn't like they weren't eating potatoes. There's just a lot less of them. Yeah. So they had to ration, and then eventually they started dying out. Yeah. Because there wasn't enough to go around. Yeah,
that was a man-made famine too.
Okay.
The Edomites were trying to starve out the Jakes, man. Okay. And then in like famine, even though it may not be affecting you directly, it's happening in the earth, man. You got people that's surviving off a meal a day, if that, less than $1 a day. You got Jake out here, like right now, like the scripture just said. People think they're in a good case because victuals are cheap. You can go to the store and get some bread for $1 or something, which that shit is poison too. But you can go to the store and get it. Well, in other areas you can't do that in the world, man. And on top of that, y'all think victual is cheap now. Wait till this mighty recession that's looming over America hits, man. They said it's gonna be worse in 2008, man. When we was, poor Jake, you don't really feel it because you already poor. You don't really have nothing. So a lot of that 2008, it affected a lot of Jakes that had houses, or a lot of Edomites that had money in certain places. They felt the burn, they felt the sting. But when this next recession hit, man, everybody gonna feel it, man. And then famine, you used to go in the store to get $1 worth of bread, you gonna have to pay like $100 for a bread loaf, man. This gonna be that real out here, man.
Verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine.
Yeah, and the majority of the people that's on the planet Earth, famine is going to hit them, man. Because war brings famine. So this is going to be a world war. A lot of them Jakes, they're going to sign up to the military just so they can eat. They're going to get that chip just so they can eat.
That's actually what happened before the potato famine. There was also another famine that's just not recognized as much during the Three Kingdom Wars when Jake was still in Europe and stuff. Where they, what's that Cromwell character? Thomas Cromwell was basically,
it was Oliver, and it was Thomas. I think it was his son.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't matter. Go ahead, brother.
But anyways, one of the Cromwells was, forcing Jake. But one of the tactics was deprive him of food. Yep. He pushed all the Jakes to the west part of Ireland, yep, where it's like, rocky and couldn't really grow anything. And then a lot of the male Jakes that, were desperate, they just ended up fighting for the Parliament, the English Parliament, to survive. And then that's when their women and children got sent down to Barbados and Montserrat in the West Indies, and that's why, here at Great Millstone, we believe that a lot of the Irish are from the tribe of Benjamin.
Yeah, and then on top of that, with how famine, famine again, Amos, was it Amos? No, Lamentations. I think it's 2. It said, "They that be slain by the sword are better than they that be slain by famine, because by this they pine away." Yeah, it's a slow death, man. So again, when war comes, famine comes along with it, man. They go hand in hand together. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, because a lot of people that die of famine are those in the war.
Yeah.
Like if you study the Civil War, me being from the South, I heard this a lot, that the South would have won if they had, more resources. And
they cut off their supply. That's what they do. So, Salakia, brother, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, that's what they do. When in war, famine is a tactic of war. Hey, you can see that with Tiberius Julius Alexander, Hitler, all of them. Whenever it came to war, the first thing they do was to cut off the supply chain, man. To cut off the supply of food and medical supplies, man. So they'll starve you out, man. That's a war tactic. Go ahead, brother.
This is Lamentations 4 and 9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field.
Yeah, for want of bread. So starvation. Go back to that one in 2nd Ezra you was reading.
Okay. Back in 2nd Ezra 16 and 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
So yeah, you get that chip and you escape the hunger. Ultimately, the nuclear missiles are going to destroy your ass, man. You know, if the gun don't do it first, man. You know?
And like in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, I'll get it. But how we were talking about how they cut off the resources. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
Yeah.
2nd Ezra 15 and
like 15 and 16.
And 17. I'll start at 16. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. So that includes all the people bringing in your groceries to your retail stores. You know, because I think they did a study, during Hurricane Katrina and, whenever other hurricanes hit, or, when cities would get snowed in, they did a study where it takes like 3 days for that shit to clear out, for all those resources to get used up. So, I mean, when this prophecy happens, you got 3 days, bro.
Yep.
You got 3 days to, be locked up in your house, and then, after about 5 days, that's when people are going to start, coming into your house and taking your shit, verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So because of lack of bread is, one of them, man. And what Jake was saying in the video, he was saying how the diet that we have is making us addicted to food, Like we explained, like the withdrawal symptoms whenever you don't get food. And you see it with these Popeye chicken niggas, man.
Mm-hmm.
They don't got their, fried fix. So they start, wailing on people because they're bugged out in the head, man.
Yep.
And it's because of this diet, man. And it's because, the Most High is making moves and he's sending out spirits to heighten those side effects, you know? So, brothers, fast detox, get your diet right, pray to Yahweh Gmshawaii, because these things are coming, man. And and the Most High is beautiful how he's stacking up like all these chess pieces really to make a move on King Esau right now, man.
That's right. All right, so with that, we want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone for teaching his word in truth and sincerity, for ruling well. And salutations to our fellow Akim. Keep pushing, keep striving. We almost out of here. Shalom.
Shalom.